What's up, guys? Kyle McGee here once again with another episode of Wrestling the Past. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode. Usually on this show, we take a deep dive into old wrestling events, but today I've got an interview with Jared Kripke, a local wrestler from Indiana. Jared, how you doing today, man?
No, man, I am doing good. I'm doing good. I had a fun weekend at FWF up in Columbia. I think it's Columbus City or Columbia. Yeah, Columbia City. That was my debut there up there, and got to wrestle Cody Lee. So still recovering from that match. Oh man, he kicked my butt, but I pulled out the win, so life is good.
Well, congrats on pulling out the win and your debut in FWF. Are you going to be working there more often now?
I'm hoping so. I really like the people there. I like the locker room. The crowd was really good too.
Awesome. And you said this was in Columbia City?
Yeah, up north near Fort Wayne.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's my first time there. Apparently, they do a little like a little loop around that area or something like that. Like that's their first time in that town too. So.
Well, right on. What a way to make your debut. First time in the town too.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your first time working in that area?
Yeah, well, I mean, I wrestled in Fort Wayne a couple times, and that's near South Bend, where I've wrestled. That's like one of my old stomping grounds. But yeah, it's my first time all the way that area. Yeah, and especially this Jared Kripke. Like I've always been Jared Kripke, but I'm not big whiskey, top shelf talent, Jared Kripke. And yeah, it's my first time them seeing me.
Yeah, you definitely have a completely different look and feel to you than when I first met you back in 2016 at School of Rock. So that's actually one of my questions I had is, where did the big whiskey top shelf talent nickname come from?
So when I got on at Ohio Valley Wrestling,
Yeah.
I've been wrestling there for about a year now on TV with them. How I got on was through a tag team called Southern Discomfort.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they were looking for they were looking for somebody, and so of course they being Southern Discomfort, I had to come up with my own little alcohol pun, and so of course I came up with Whiskey Kripke, and so they started calling me Little Whiskey, and I said no, I'm Big Whiskey. If I'm going to be anything, I'm Big Whiskey, and yeah, and it just kind of stuck.
I love it, man. That's awesome. That's perfect. That's a great reason behind it too, especially with the Southern Discomfort.
Yeah, there's a couple of really good guys. They helped me out a lot in the business.
Awesome, man. And you mentioned OVW. I've been seeing a lot of your posts about that. What's it been like working with OVW? You know, OVW obviously historic in the wrestling business, but also how much has it helped you grow as a talent in the business?
Oh man, like it is so validating as a performer, as an artist, to like finally do what I want to do. Basically, like like when you start wrestling, you don't start wrestling. Most people don't start doing it to wrestle in front of small crowds at a gym. Not nothing against it. I love indie wrestling, but I mean like like when you start out, you think of TV, like in big crowds and pay-per-views. That's what I mean. Like not disparaging indie wrestling at all. Like I'm a big indie wrestler, you know what I mean? Like I wrestle, 4 or 5 times a weekend on the indies, but I just mean when you start out, you think like, yeah, I'm going to make it to TV and that kind of stuff. And so finally getting that TV experience at such a historic place, like you said, it is just so validating and very, this makes me very thankful. Every time I do anything in the ring, anytime I'm there, talk to anybody that has an affiliation with OVW, any opportunity I get with them, I'm always just so thankful. Like it's all like I think it's Matt Hoffman, the BMFX rider, or BMX rider.
Yeah.
He always said that he lived on extra credit. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now with my wrestling career, man. Like everything is just extra. I'm just so happy and thankful for what I'm getting here at OVW. But I'm trying to take like whatever they give me and whatever opportunity, and like I said, I'm being thankful for it, but I'm trying to run with it, roll with it, make it big.
Yeah, absolutely. I think to your point, I mean, yeah, I think when anybody gets into wrestling, their goal isn't, and this isn't a knock on any wrestling, but yeah, it's not to be wrestling in high school gyms. You're in the business to make money more often than not if you're trying to be in the business. So TV is obviously the way to go.
And so like that's the indie wrestling or like wrestling in front of a live crowd. I wouldn't even say indie wrestling. Live crowds is so different than TV wrestling or pay-per-view wrestling. It is just like I usually every weekend I have these 15-minute stories. Like I'm painting a story out in that canvas. Painting a picture out on the canvas. Start to finish a whole story. Well, TV I usually only have 8-minute block at the most, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, and I gotta do what I need to do in that time. So it's very I like it's how do I say it? It's very like it's very focused on one or two things as opposed to this big overarching story. A 15-minute match. It's just I love it. So I get to focus on one thing and do it really 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 well as opposed to just like I said, having a Jared Kripke match with the next guy, the next local guy. So it's been so much fun. And then I was gonna you would understand this because we're from the School of Rock. That's where
Yep.
how we know each other. We both were trained by one of the best ever, Billy Rock. When I first started out, uh, how I got into wrestling, I was looking for a wrestling school, and I was gonna go to OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling. I was just like, I'm just gonna make the drive every week and
Yep.
just commit to it. And then when I googled pro wrestling schools, it said there was one 0.5 miles away. So I was like, oh, well, I guess that's kind of a sign. Like I got this isn't like just like some thing where I'm gonna have to sacrifice. It was a huge sacrifice. I don't mean it like that, but I mean like it was just kind of a no brainer. It was like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely doing this then. Yeah, if it's literally right here, it's like a sign. I gotta go, and it's not just some crappy gym. It's an actual like one of the most renowned trainers in indie wrestling. So I got very blessed with that opportunity. Starting out starting out early, and that's like so that's how we met. But if it wasn't for Billy, I might have tried to do the moving to Louisville thing, and
Yep.
and that my career path would have been very different. And so I'm very thankful for Billy opening that door. But it is it's cool to see my career come full circle and finally go where I literally like wanted to be, like starting out, like that's where I wanted to be, and then now I'm there.
I was gonna say that it is kind of ironic. You have kind of had that full circle story, and it's also ironic because both myself and David, he was in the class with me. He made his debut on that show. He was David Reeves, the real big guy. He and I were both same thing. We looked into OVW first, and we're like, well, F it, we'll make the drive. Why not? But then we ended up finding out about School of Rock, realizing, hey, it's in Lafayette. It's a little bit closer to Indianapolis than Louisville, and not to mention we knew people. So one of the guys in our friend groups is actually a coworker of Dale Patrick's at the time. So he told us all about like Dale graduated from that school. So we ended up looking at that. So it is kind of funny to think that we had similar paths as far as how we came about the training.
And funny with Dale, like you said, School of Rock guy. I think with him and Trip Cassidy and Ace Perry, those three helped me start out with a lot of cool moves and stuff that really identified me or helped me set myself apart. A lot of that was stuff I learned from Trip and Dale and Ace. And then
Nice.
now, years later, I just wrestled Dale for I'm the AIWF Midwest Heavyweight Champion, and I think he's
Yes.
the AWR. I'm dyslexic, but the one that's in Indianapolis, that area.
Yeah. I think it's AWR.
That one, yes.
Yeah.
I wrestled for his championship just last month. So
Okay.
yeah, the careers really do come full circle. Like it's life imitates art.
Absolutely, man. You love to see it. Well, we talked about School of Rock, so I kind of wanted to ask you, what was your experience like there? I know, speaking for myself personally, those first few practices in the winter months, no heat in the building because it's a storage shed. What was the entire experience like for you?
First time anyone's ever asked me about this. It's funny. Yeah, that was the big thing. This on as you remember, like on the side of the ring. when like one of the big banners, it says respect.
Yep.
At the School of Rock, respect. Like that's the number one thing he teaches. So getting like I kind of felt like I got it easy. I only had to travel like a half mile. Like I could have walked to wrestling practice.
Yeah.
Like wrestling training. Like when I'm supposed to be paying my dues, right? Well, we definitely paid our dues there, didn't we?
He made you pay your dues. That's for sure. It didn't matter who you were.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the old school beating the crap out of you paying your dues. It was like you said, we were. It was a good gym. I'm not nothing against it, but yeah, there was no heat. And it was from January all the way to November.
Yep.
Or October in my case. January all the way to October. So that's the middle of Indiana blizzards, and then Indiana Julys, which can get up to like 110. So
yeah, big differences in those practices.
Yeah. And we never really took a week off. Like we just kept going. Like I think there was maybe 1 week where we did some like talking more than physical training, but like no, we worked hard there. So my experience with that is like I learned a lot of respect for the business, and I got to pay my dues. Like I said, I got to earn it. I felt like I earned it there. And I took it really seriously, and I tried to take it from the very get-go. I think at the first show I had T-shirts. From the get-go, I was always trying to treat this professionally. And I thought that I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for Billy telling us to show respect to the business. So yeah, that, and I got to meet so many amazing people. Like I got the crap beat out of me by Mance Warner.
Yep, good old Mance.
Oh my word! So many funny stories with him. I haven't caught up with him since the days back at Emerge in Indianapolis, but yeah, there's seeing him go from like a normal dude to Mancer.
Yep, good old Mancer.
It's pretty wild. And then Luke Lawson, Josh, he's a great guy.
Yeah, Josh is a great guy. I still keep up with his gaming posts right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say Josh be Joshin', I think it is.
Yeah, I think so. Josh be Joshin'.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love his stuff. Sage Phillips, Gage, Phillips, he is awesome in the business. I love what he's doing.
Yeah, fun fact about him. So I met him down in Bloomington at the National Guard Armory for Infinity Pro shows. We were doing young boy stuff, and it was the year he was in training. And people there thought we were brothers. We had similar hair and facial hair at the time. I thought that was kind of funny.
I could very much see that. You guys are similar build, similar height even. I can see that. Hey, you can be compared to worse. I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely.
Sage is a good guy. So that's it's good to be mistaken for him.
Yeah, not complaining about that one at all.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then Billy, he really set you up good for the business. Like you start off with you pay your dues, you learn what you need to learn, from one of the most respected guys in the business, like I said, and then his training had a seminar included.
Yep.
So if you're just a mark or whatever, and you just want to meet a famous person, you got that. And so, but I like I said, I was taking it serious. So, we got to learn from Colt Cabana during my year. Who was it for your year?
You know what? I think around the time the seminar happened was when I had already left training due to the financial issues I ran into at the time. I can't remember. I could ask David, but off the top of my head, I can't remember who they got. I do remember Billy talking to us about Colt Cabana, and Colt put over Billy's school on his podcast the week after Billy announced he was going to close the doors.
I'm saying that's, man. Yeah, that's how it tells you how long ago it was, back when Colt still had a podcast.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That's wild. But yeah, but besides the seminar, like you get to learn from one of the best in the business. And then at the end of it, you have your debut match. Like you have basically one match included.
Yep.
Like as long as you make it through training and everything, you do everything right, you get one match. So I got to wrestle Scotty Young.
Okay, so you got to wrestle Scotty your first match.
Yeah, I got a singles match. I was really, really, really thankful for that because I could have had a multi-man, I could have had a tag, but nothing against that, but I've always pictured myself as like a singles guy, you know.
Of
So
course.
it's nice. Like if I never did anything else with it, it would have been really. Again, I'm really thankful that I got my singles match out of it.
Yeah, and of course, and the other way of looking at that, I would say, is I've always loved tag team wrestling. Don't get me wrong, but I think making your debut, you're wanting to get some actual work in. You want a singles match as opposed to a big multi-man or a tag where you maybe will
Hmm.
see 1 to 2 minutes if it's a big multi-man.
Exactly. Yeah, I got to actually try. I fell off the top rope trying to do a springboard, and I
Oh
don't think I
goodness.
did. Yeah, I didn't do another one for probably a year after that until I gained a little more confidence. That's been my big issue with my whole career, is confidence until recently, until the big whiskey thing. Honestly, it's like until I got some little bit of validation, my confidence was keeping me down. I probably could have gotten a lot farther a lot sooner, but like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm thankful for my career path, but you know, that's something I would have taught my younger self a little sooner. Is know how good you are, or know what you bring to the table from the get go, as opposed to waiting for other people to tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that's part of, the path that everybody takes in life, not just in wrestling, but in life in general is, knowing what is best for you and what you do best as opposed to waiting for it. And that's something I think we could all learn. But I mean, when we're younger, of course, it's hard to know that.
Yeah, and I was wrestling starting out there. Like I said, if I would have had just the one match at that time, I probably would have been happy. If I would have sold one T-shirt, I would have been happy. I was taking it serious, but I just never thought that I could do this, that I would do this. How about that? I knew I could. I didn't think that I would do it, and so it was just, I was along for the ride, So if I would have thought about, if I would have known from the get go that I was gonna commit to this as a full time wrestler, and then, you know, but I got married young, and I bought a house when I was 19, so
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah,
Didn't
I
know
was in
that
a whole
about you.
different, yeah, I started off a little different, and then I was working at a factory, and life just was kind of not going how I envisioned. And then I found out that I was on my dad's insurance until I was 26.
Oh, there you
So,
go.
well,
That's the
okay
motivator
then.
to do anything.
Yep. So I was like, well, that kind of was to get me thinking. I was like, well, if I only have so many years to do this, and that's when I just went all out with it. Like I said, the wrestling, but um, yeah, kind of how my career path kept going from there is that after I had my first match with Scotty, um, I got another booking out of that, and then I got another booking, and then it just turned from one company to two companies to 4 weekends a month to Fridays as well. So I just kind of kept building and building and building, and I just never stopped it because I didn't want to. Like, this is what I've always wanted, and I just never thought that I could actually do this. That's
Uh-huh.
the confidence thing right there. It's not that I doubted my abilities. I just doubted that it would happen. I can't believe it. So yeah, I've had a good career, and I'm pretty thankful.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy to see it working for you. So, taking you a little bit back, I kind of want to know what was it that first got you into wrestling? We all have our stories, and what was it that drew you into it?
I honestly I can't remember what exactly show it was. Well, okay, actually, there's a bunch of different firsts for me. I'm trying to remember. My brother Justin, he used to watch the Monday Night Wars. He was a big WCW fan.
Me too. I was a little
Yeah,
kid, but
yeah.
me too.
Yeah, I was like little, but I loved the Monday Night Wars. But like I said, he was a WCW guy, and we grew up in a pretty Christian household. And so, well, the Attitude Era, WWF. Once WCW folded, it was probably just wasn't on as much. We'll just say
Yeah,
that for a
yeah,
few
I'd say
years.
that's fair for that time frame if you're in a Christian
Yeah,
household.
and I was a little kid, so it's fair. But then once I got in control of the remote by myself a little more, um, so that was my first was I remember watching it with my brother Justin, and him and I would wrestle around. I got a scar on the back of my head from him hitting me with a body slam
Oh
and
shit.
bound me oversold it like the Rock and bounced my head off the metal beam. that holds up the bed. But yeah,
I
so
feel like The
yeah.
Rock's oversells were definitely a leading factor, a contributing factor to a lot of injuries like that when we were
Uh-huh.
kids.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. And then the next two things that are probably the other reasons why a lot of people got injured. I remember seeing Jeff Hardy coming out for like when I was just
Yep.
scrolling through the channels. I saw his entrance and he had like neon paint poured down his face
Oh,
and
I
he just
remember
was
that time
like,
frame. Yep.
yeah, it was insane. And so yeah, and I watched the match and he just threw his body at people. Like it wasn't acrobatic, but it was athletic. It was athletic, but it wasn't like pretty. It was just brutal, throwing his body and he just he drew sympathy. Like as a kid, I want him to be okay. Survive the match, Jeff. You got this. Climb the ladder, make yourself famous. Um, that and then Mick Foley. Somebody showed me the my mom got me the Mick Foley DVD, his greatest hits and misses.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other like big contributor when I was a kid. But oh man, I'd say my first wrestling memory though, distinct wrestling memory was Randy Orton coming out in a lowrider, bouncing up and coming down a couple times, and I believe he told Rey Mysterio that Eddie was in hell.
Man, that is quite the first wrestling memory.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that promo. Oof.
Yeah, I was a big oof.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
like
oof.
yeah, Randy Orton was a big like in my friend group, like because of that promo and like the military stuff, like he was a big hot button topic
Yeah,
with
I
my
can imagine
friends.
so. Yeah.
Like I said, Christian household, and then talking about going to hell. It was like, oh, he's instant bad guy.
Yeah, that was kind of my first thought. I was like, man, I bet that didn't go over well in that household.
Nope.
Man, yeah. So for me, it's kind of funny. I remember, and I don't know how I remember this as vividly as I do, but it was the Ultimate Warrior's appearance in WCW. And it was in particular a segment on Nitro where, the smoke happens and he's in the ring, smoke comes back on again and he's gone. And I distinctly remember watching that. And I went back and like thought about it when I was older. I was like, I was 3 years old at the time. I have no idea how the hell I remember watching that.
That's what I was. That's why I kind of like was like walking, like looking at my girlfriend. I was like, what? He would have had to been like 3 or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was 3. I have no idea how I distinctly remember that, but I do.
Was that like when Hulk Hogan found his head and he just kept like looking at it and showing it to the camera and stuff?
No, I think that was in the build up to Starrcade 97 when they were doing like a thing where they're giving him a bunch of Christmas presents and then that was Sting's present to him. And the only reason I know that offhand is because I've been listening to the Eric Bischoff podcast and I listened to that episode not that long ago.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, I was gonna say like I never knew the context of that, but that sounds pretty Ultimate Warrior in WCW.
It really does. That honestly, it would not have surprised me at all if that's where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, man, speaking of, what drew you into wrestling, what wrestler would you say, and even if it's more than one, inspired you to become a wrestler the most? Like, who did you watch that made you think, I want to do this?
Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley, and AJ Styles. Those three combined are like my childhood, probably to the max. Hey, I mean, they're all smaller guys. I mean, Jeff Hardy's like 6'1" or 2 or something. He's not a small guy, but
yeah, but
whatever.
I know what you mean,
Still,
though.
yeah, comparatively, but like he's he wasn't jacked to the gills. How about that? Mick Foley, he looked like my brother. He looked like my dad. I can relate to him.
Yeah.
Same with, and then AJ Styles, he's like who I wanted to be. Yeah. Like, I used to have like the seashell choker necklace, and I used to have a necklace that was like had a ring on it, just like him. Like I was a total AJ. Like I'd spiked my hair up like a ducktail, whatever it's called, like just like he used to do. Yeah, I was
awesome.
big. If I a ideal manhood when I was a kid was AJ Styles. Yeah. So yeah, I just kind of the person I look like, the person I relate to, and the person that I wanted to look like. That's kind of
I like that. I like that. I mean, that's definitely a solid throw. I will say with the first two, it is a miracle you didn't have more injuries as a kid. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. AJ Styles in TNA around that time frame, when he was with Kurt Angle or when he was with Christian, that was like peak wrestling comedy, was it not?
Oh yeah, for real. Yeah, like I mean, just everything from him in the turkey stew. I mean, he was just like teenage Kurt Angle. He was never worried about showing his butt, making himself look silly.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved him. I loved him in TNA. Still love him today. So let's see. I know that your nickname was inspired by Eric Kripke. You and I talked about it personally because I noticed that your original T-shirt, I believe it was, had the Supernatural style font on it with the name Jared Kripke on it. So I'm gonna hit you with a hard one here. What's your favorite episode of Supernatural?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Yeah, well, I like Swan Song. The original finale in season 5.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just like that's just like peak storytelling. That's so good. The Benders episode. That's the one. I think it's season 1 or 2. That one's probably another one of my old favorites. Like just if I'm not gonna go with the goat, like Swan Song's everybody's favorite. So
yeah,
ignoring that one. Yeah, I'd say the Benders because it's cool to see the guys out of their element.
Oh man, yeah, I just had to look that up. That is a great episode.
Yeah, instead of the monsters, I don't want to give away the ending, but I mean it's human.
Yeah, it's perfect. It was great storytelling in that episode alone, I think.
Yes, yeah, and it was just like if you just show that to somebody, it's just it's good art form, or good art right there because you just because at the end of the day you can just say well the real monsters is humanity, so if they only watch that one episode, it tells it has a little message to it.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. And one thing I loved about that episode, and this happens a few other times throughout the shows, is the time where the boys decide that they need to reveal to the people involved that there are monsters, there's this and that, and then it's a fucking human.
Yeah,
and it happens more than once.
Oh. And my favorite part is that they can't prepare.
No, they can't.
They're like, okay, if it's this, we need salt. If it's this, we need silver. Human? Oh man, I have no idea. They could do anything. They're crazy.
Yeah, and I love that. It does a great job telling the story about how humans are the biggest monster of all. You can't predict them.
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, no, I love Supernatural myself. I would have been angry at myself to not ask you a Supernatural question.
Oh man, yeah, I could talk Supernatural all day. I've been to 2 of their conventions, and I won their trivia back in a long time ago. I forget what year it was.
No kidding, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I had a lot of fun with that. I saw anything from season 1 through 7. I know I used to know off the top of my head. Anything after that, I still know it really well, but that's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, absolutely. It does get to be to where, okay, when did that happen? What was it? Yeah, as far as the trivia goes, that's me with The Office. I'll tell you that right now.
So yeah, I like The Office. That's one that was one of my guilty pleasure shows. It's not like I'm not like an Office fanatic, but same with Supernatural. The first few seasons, I can tell you everything about it, but I kind of fell off the wagon.
Yeah, and I think that's understandable with both shows. Did you like the finale of Supernatural without giving anything away to people who maybe haven't watched it yet?
Yes. As somebody that how do I say it? I thought about the lore of the show deeply. Even though it's kind of like a male soap opera kind of show.
Yeah.
I took the lore seriously. I guess not in a serious. I don't believe it. I didn't believe it, but it's I always tried to make it make sense in universe. And so in universe, it's just a perfect finale. It may not be the most satisfying to some fans or because of COVID, there's a couple scenes that could have had a couple more things happen that
of course,
just weren't able to. But from like I said, from a lore, an in universe perspective, I thought it was a really good finale. It wrapped everything up perfectly. They literally like everything.
Yeah, I would agree completely, especially with what they were able to do because of COVID. I agree it was the perfect send off. Obviously, without COVID, things could have been different, but they did the best with what they had to work with. Getting back onto the wrestling topic, though, I'm gonna hit you with another tough one, and this might be hard for you to answer. So if you're not able to answer, completely understand. But if somebody's never watched you wrestle before, what do you think are the 5 Jared Kripke matches they should see to bring them into you as a fan?
Okay, so I'll list 2 early ones or before Big Whiskey ones.
Okay.
Me versus Theo Storm. So Jared Kripke versus Theo Storm, ACW. It's on my YouTube channel. Gimmick. I think it's like Bearded Dragon or something like that. Jared Kripke versus Gimmick Thief Theo Storm.
Okay.
That one is just it has a really good crowd. It has all the moments, like that for my early career, like my moves, and stuff like that. My family's there. I'm defending a title, so it's a full on it's just a good and early on experience. Jared Kripke versus Austin Fury.
Yep.
There's 2 of them at BMFX that they would be very good early on. Actually, hold on. Let's save that before let's do Jared Kripke versus Austin Fury from CTW.
Okay.
That was match.
CTW, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
CTW. That was match of the year last year for Crash Tested Wrestling up in Lake Station.
Well, congratulations for that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that was both in him and I's debut match there, and it is the perfect like heel versus face match, and like not the perfect, but it tells a perfect heel versus face story, and I just love it. So there's those 2. There's the triple threat from OVW's Nightmare Rumble. Me versus AJ Daniels versus I'm horrible with names, Grant. Though it was a triple threat on pay-per-view, and it was my pay-per-view debut, and I just kind of went all out.
Nice.
They gave me an inch, and I tried to take a mile with it, and I think it was pretty good. And gosh, this is hard. Those
Yeah,
first 3
I
were
knew
pretty.
this was going to be tough.
Hold on, let me look at Victoria's YouTube channel. If you go to Skyconic Wrestling on YouTube, so yeah, it's a really good YouTube channel with like a lot of full shows.
Okay, cool. I've not seen that before. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so she has like BMFX, CTW, or maybe not CTW, BMFX, FWF, and a few other companies in the Midwest. I'd say if you want to, Cowboy James Storm and Josh Morris.
That's
That was a
right. What was
triple
that
threat.
like working with Cowboy?
That was really good. The crowd could have been a little bit better. The company could have been a little better, but the match, it's like I couldn't have had better opponents, man. Like Josh Morris is a phenomenal heel, and then James Storm, he's a big boy.
Yeah, no kidding. I was going to say, I feel like there had to have been a size discrepancy there.
Yeah, like I'm 6 foot, so that's people always like picture me as a small guy, but I am 6 foot, so it's not like there's like a huge height difference, but size wise, yeah, he's probably 2 of me. Like hug like me. If I hugged myself, I would maybe be the size of him. Like it's insane. Yeah, him and Chase Stevens. I had a one-on-one with Chase Stevens that is as well. It was a really good match, and I'm very proud of both of those. Yeah, I'm proud of both those. And so those are both my name matches, and then I'll just throw one more out there. Victoria, throw me match.
Why would you do that?
Poor Victoria.
Victoria on the spot. Cause she's like, she's my biggest supporter. She's my biggest fan, and I don't mean that in like a bad way. She's just okay. She's a total worker. She just so she you know how they always say you're only as good as your last match.
She picks your last match.
Yeah, she picked my last match.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, me versus Cody Lee is a really good one-on-one. I'm proud of that one. Yeah, the crowd was hot. I got to hit all my new stuff. Like I've been really trying to like change things up because a lot of people have been following me for years. A lot of my fans that are like my fans, that travel around from all across the state, like from Logan Sport all the way down to Martinsville and stuff. They've been with me for years, and so I don't want to bore them by doing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I'd say that one-on-one with Cody Lee would be the last one.
All right. Well, I will try to, for anybody watching this in video form on YouTube, I will try to provide links below that I can find for this, for these matches. That way everybody can check them out. And I know for a fact I want to check out the James Storm match. I was really disappointed because the day that match happened, I had to work. And I was actually going to put in PTO to come watch that. I told my fiance, I was like, a guy that I know is wrestling a guy that has been on NXT, has been on TNA. Like, I want to go see this. And two of my other coworkers had already put in PTO, so I had to be there. Yeah. So,
did you see my promo I did with the title belts and everything? Like, because you and I grew up around the same time. Remember James Storm having the beer drinking championship?
I haven't seen this. I'll have to check it out. I'm assuming you emulated that.
Yeah, you remember how he had it was like the John Cena spinner belt, but he glued a beer bottle to the middle.
Oh, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, I made a replica one of those because funny story that one I don't know yeah, funny story that one actually got stolen from the TNA locker room.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so he doesn't have there's no original, but so I offered her, when I made mine, and I cut a promo on him, and I showed off the TNA beer drinking championship. It looked just like the original, and then I threw it down and I brought up the new the Universal title. You know how they have that the big W.
Yep.
I got little shooter bottles of whiskey with my logo on it. And I glued those in the shape of a W. So yeah, it's instead of the WWE title, it's the big whiskey title.
I love it, man.
So,
I'll have to go out of my way to check this promo out.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. And if not, I at least just send you the pictures of the bell. It's as somebody that grew up on that stuff, it was pretty satisfying to pay off a promo from like 20 years ago with one of my in person, as a professional, not like a fan.
Yeah, that's
cool.
got to be a really cool moment to, like you said, not even be doing that as a fan. You're doing that in person and you're working with him. That's just awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't make that because oh my gosh, it's James Storm. No, I made it so I could cut a promo on him and make money,
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I feel like that's something that's, at the end of the day, you're here in it to make money, and you got to get people watching you, and that's the kind of thing that are going to make people watch.
Yep. But I'm a fan too, so
of course. All right, man. So you got to wrestle at Indianapolis Comic-Con this past year, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, that was a very validating experience. Like I was saying earlier, I wrestled 14 times in 4 days, I believe it was. I wrestled in OVW Louisville on Thursday. Wrestled 4 times on Friday in Indianapolis, 3 times in the morning, 2 or 3 times in the morning and Saturday, and then I drove to Lafayette and I wrestled a championship match there, and then another match or 2 that night in Indianapolis, and then the next day 3 more times, so or something like that, whatever adds up to 14, but it was intense, man. I don't know if you've ever heard of Gunner Brave.
I
Gunner
don't know
Brave.
that I have.
Oh, dude, he is a top tier talent, man.
I remember you posting his name. Yeah, yeah, he's probably not top shelf talent, but
yeah, not top shelf, but he's top tier. So I'll say top tier. I got to wrestle him, and as soon as I wrestled him, I'm like, we're having another match. I think we wrestled 3 times. I couldn't have enough of him, man. He's a good guy. And then AVZ, Alex Van Zandt.
Yep, I do know that name.
He's just putting on size, putting on more bulk and stuff, dude. He is huge, and he is so good on the microphone, man. I don't know how he isn't like, on GCW or something like that. He is so fierce on the microphone, man. Like he just, at Comic-Con, we had to cut his mic a couple times.
Yeah, you kind of got to
bring
watch
that
what
up.
you say there.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a funny story. But yeah, I loved doing that, and that was a really cool experience. I talked to Kevin Nash while I was there.
Yeah, just rub it in, man. Just rub it in while you're at it.
I mean, Al Snow was there too. I didn't get to see him though, but I get to see him on Thursdays though. So.
Well, you know what? Have you ever asked Al about the Ultimate Deathmatch DVDs?
No. I call him Boss Man kind of as a joke because of the whole Boss Man stuff, but no, I've never, I don't, what's that about?
Oh my God. Okay. Jared, you have no idea. These are really bad movies. They were made by director Sean Kane. And basically the premise of the story is that Sean Kane, he's playing this character, Jake Reed, and he's an exiled promoter because a guy died in his ring, so now he's lost his promoting license. But he lost his license because a guy had a heart attack, so whatever. But he's been just run out of the industry, so he decides to come up with this thing called the Ultimate Deathmatch, where it's going to be a tournament, and in the finals of the tournament, someone's going to die for real. So he's going to basically earn off this reputation, and Al Snow is the leading role in the movie, and he's like the commentator that helps him run the show. It is a train wreck.
Oh, dude, I'll have to check that out. Yeah,
and there's 3 of them.
Wow, can't be too bad then.
Oh, you have no idea. It's not even just the story. The editing's bad. There are scenes where there's just absolutely no audio. It's bad. Ironically enough, Kevin Nash is in it too. So I think Indianapolis Comic-Con might have been an Ultimate Deathmatch convention.
Honestly, yeah. Like I should have brought a picture of the cast and had him sign that instead.
Oh, I'm sure he would have loved you for that.
That's funny.
Oh man, yeah, no, definitely check them out if you have time and want to waste it.
Yeah. Well, have you seen? It kind of reminds me of like the story of like the most. I think it's like the worst rated film on IMDb or something like that. I forget, but it's like basically the worst film in existence. But it's just like what you said. Like half the scenes don't even have audio and stuff. So I'm surprised. It's not the worst.
Yeah, I've not seen that, but I know what you're talking about. I have definitely heard of it.
Yeah, that's funny.
So getting back on track here, I'm assuming Comic-Con is in April, I believe. I'm assuming if they do it again, would you go back?
I'm no longer with that company that's affiliated with
okay.
currently GC. I'm just So, maybe in the future, but not currently with how things are going. I don't want to support some stuff that's going on there.
Understandable, and obviously, not going to ask you anything about that. We'll just leave that where it is. I think I saw your post about that. Didn't realize that was that promotion. So that's unfortunate.
You're good.
I'm glad you got the experience though, and it sounds like you enjoyed it while you were there at least.
Yes, yeah. I've been trying to I'm 28 years old and I've been wrestling for 7 years now. And I've gotten to do a lot of stuff that I'm very happy with. I'm not done, and I have a lot more stuff to do and a lot more goals that I have to achieve. But I've been kind of keeping my eye on the producing side of wrestling.
Okay, interesting.
And, yeah, like going to TV at OVW and stuff, like learning the production side and just watching how things are put together that's my bread and butter, man. I love that. So like facing hard cam, like when I had my WWE tryout, that was something that they made it huge. Like you never show your butt to the camera, you're always even when you're wrestling, you're like kind of working in a horseshoe instead of, it's insane. But like just little stuff like camera angles to timing things out so the whole show lasts the right amount of time. Putting the intermission at the right place, making sure there's not too many tag team matches, stuff like that. Like, I just love the production side of wrestling. So MP at Comic-Con, I got to do a lot of that. Like I did the music, I did the putting things in the right order. I didn't necessarily do the matchups, but some of them I did. A lot of them I made. But yeah, it was just like putting the shows together. That was like my baby, and so I'm very proud of that. That Comic-Con, I got everybody's signatures from that show, and that's a big happy memory for me. Hopefully, I can do it again some year.
Awesome, man. And I love hearing the stuff about you getting into the producing side of things eventually. I think it's great that you're in a place that's on TV now, so you can kind of study and learn that stuff. So you had the tryout with WWE. I remember hearing about that, but when was that?
The end of July last year.
Okay, yep. I knew it was within the last year.
Yeah, the WWE tryout in end of July in Orlando. And then I had an Impact tryout in Tennessee in like September.
So what were those tryouts like, and what were some of the key differences in those tryouts?
The WWE tryout was one I was invited to. Like they contacted I forget exactly how it went. Well, it was through OVW. I don't know if I should listen. I'm not going to list names or anything.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah. But I just got through some good people. I got an opportunity, and so I was able to get flown out, and that was just like a whole experience. I got the whole like rock star experience. Like not really. Like it's it's not like it, but I felt like a rock star. It's so cool. Like I got like a rental car and a flight and hotel, and just everything was all included, and that just felt so cool. And let's see so let me understand. I'm not saying this is why, because they things change in wrestling, and obviously I have things to work on, and it was a referee tryout.
Okay.
And this was Thursday and a Friday, so the head of talent relations, got talking to him on Thursday. On Friday, it's reported that he's released. Oh, so I go, oh, that's odd. And then so I have the tryout, everything's fine. Monday, the guy, the girl that helped, do the the girl that helped with travel and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
my go-to person, she got released. And then later on that week, another person that was connected got released, and then the whole NXT revamp started.
So basically, just right place at the wrong time is what this sounds like.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm not making excuses, because if I was good enough, I would have gotten it. Or if I was short enough. I'm a little too tall for referee. But
yeah, you can't be bigger than the talent.
That's like they gave me a shot, but at first they even said no because how tall I was. But I was like, I can bend down. Yeah. So that's kind of so. But yeah, like you said, right place, wrong time. But I'm so thankful for that experience. Like I got to like you said, the production side of it from the like a multi-billion-dollar company. I got to see the Performance Center, which is top notch, man. Like
I
it's
can only
outrageous.
imagine.
The people I got to referee a couple NXT talents that are big right now, like Andre Chase, and Valentina Feroz. I got to ref both their matches, and
okay.
Yeah, so it was just really cool seeing what they're doing right now on NXT and 205 Live, or Level Up now. So it's pretty cool. And the people that did get hired through that tryout, it's just really cool to see them there. I'm so happy for them. And now that I got that WWE tryout and all that kind of stuff, now I'm looking to go back as a wrestler next time. Because the Impact tryout, I thought I had a really good time there. So the difference between that one, the Impact tryout, so WWE tryout was probably, I think it was 12 people. The Impact tryout was 112.
Holy crap. Okay, I would have expected that to have been the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. It was more of a seminar
okay.
with a look,
Gotcha, that makes sense.
So I'm not taking away from anything from myself. Like, it was still a tryout, but at the end of the day, yeah, it was, there's a lot of people there, and I tried to stand out, and I kind of had a little. It was kind of cool. Like I have the things that I think I'm good at, you know. Like, and I can have a good match with anybody's, but a lot of people can. A lot of people are good wrestlers, you know. Like not like it's hard, so it's kind of hard to stand out when your thing is I'm a good wrestler.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and if they're at the Impact Tryout, they're good wrestlers, most of them. So I tried to stand out a little differently, where I tried to show how good I was at like being the underdog, being the smaller guy, being the guy in the cell, you know. So I wrestled a guy that was probably 350 pounds, 6'3". His name's Odin. Like he is huge, man. He looks like a guy whose name is Odin. You know, like he had a WWE tryout recently, and he is insane, man. He's huge. But I wrestled him, and he just tossed me around for a few minutes, and I got the crowd behind me, and I think I stood out. I got to talk to Scott D'Amore and
Nice.
Luke Gallows, and it was pretty cool.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. That's the thing, that between the two of them, I got to meet so many cool people at the WWE tryout. Just like the people they have just walking in and out of the performance center. Like if you know who they are, it is just outrageous. Like if you pay attention and you just look at their faces, you're like, wait a second, that's Robbie Brookside.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's Rhea Ripley. You know, like give you this. Yeah, like it's just cool how casual like it is to see the people that are on TV, because like I'm trying to get there and stuff, you know. So
yeah,
it's cool to be like, oh yeah, these are my peers. Yeah, of course I'll see them at work.
Yeah, that person is where I want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the NXT tryout, it was really cool though. Or the Impact tryout, it was really cool though, because it was at the the School of Morton. So like the Rock and Roll Express, like it was at the School of Morton.
That's
awesome.
And
that was my first time. Yeah, first time being there, and oh, that was so cool. I would really good guys. I've gotten to meet them 4 times now.
Nice. That's. I feel like that's pro wrestling royalty, like right there. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jared, I'm gonna hit you with something. Who is on your pro wrestling Mount Rushmore?
Like, see, this is whatever. There's 2 things. There's the money making Mount Rushmore, and then there's the wrestling, like the sports entertainment Rushmore, and then there's the pro wrestling Rushmore.
So you know what? Give me both. Give me your sports entertainment one, and then your pro wrestling, because I think that's absolutely the case.
Yeah. Sports entertainment wise, let's go. Hulk Hogan, John Cena, The Rock, and Stone Cold. I mean, that's kind of easy.
Yep,
I feel like
that's a pretty fair one. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty moneymakers. So that usually people just say that one so they can get those 4 out of the way. Because if you say anybody else, it's just kind of silly. You know? So now those 4 out of the way. Probably Ric Flair.
Yep.
AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson, whatever. Shawn Michaels.
Okay, that's pretty. So the first one was your sports entertainment one, and this one is your pro wrestling one. So we've got Ric Flair, AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson, Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
You know what? I'll give you credit. That's a pretty respectable Mount Rushmore for professional wrestling right there.
Yeah, see, I think that would be a good match, like if they're all in their peaks.
Oh,
but yeah, like Shawn Michaels is just he could have, like I could watch any of his matches any day of the week. Like he's just so good. Same with Bryan Danielson. AJ Styles is always phenomenal, and then Ric Flair, that's kind of who I try to emulate my AIWF Midwest Heavyweight title reign. That's kind of who I try to emulate. I'm trying to have championship matches anywhere with anyone.
I like it. That's a good thing. I think that's a good thing to go for, and it's something that I think is kind of missing in modern wrestling, is that Ric Flair feel when you're a champion.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. We're adding some credibility to the title.
Definitely. I will have to disagree with you on one thing, though. Normally, I would have agreed with you about
What's up?
being able to watch any Shawn Michaels match any day of the week. But on the first episode of this podcast, we went back and watched the first ever episode of Monday Night Raw. And my God, that match with Max Moon is hard to watch.
Literally, I was like, is that Max Moon one? Yep.
It's so hard to watch. And I was surprised watching it. I heard that get announced. I was like, you know what? Max Moon's a goofy gimmick, but Conan's a decent worker, especially in the 90s. And it's Shawn Michaels. This is going to be good. And oh, it blowed.
Yeah, that even that teardrop suplex just wasn't enough to save it.
No, it really wasn't. Oh, man. But other than that, yes, I would agree. I feel like I can, for the most part, watch any Shawn Michaels match, whether he's in the Rockers or Post, and be good. Yeah, you put any of those four in there together, one-on-one, or in a fatal four-way match, and yeah, you're going to get wrestling gold right there.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like we might get a WrestleMania match this year even. Shawn Michaels and AJ is rumored, is what I heard. But
really?
I mean, like, I don't see why AJ Styles would do that pose at the Royal Rumble.
I guess that's true, yeah.
And like, and it's in Texas this year. Like, I don't know. I feel like it has to be him versus Shawn Michaels. But we'll see over the next couple of weeks, I guess.
What do you make of
today? Monday? I guess we'll see tonight.
True. What do you make of the rumors about Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens? Same.
I love Stone Cold, man, but man, he was already like he was a brawler by the time he was 2000 like he couldn't even wrestle anymore in 2000 and that's not, he could have a good match, but I mean he couldn't like wrestle 22 years ago, so I just don't have much hope of him having more of a punch stunner match.
Yeah, and it's it's like my buddy and I were talking about it. There was Punk wanted the match with him 2011, 2012, and that was 10, 11 years ago, and he was too banged up back then. Now he's 57 years old. You're telling me he's magically not too banged up for a match? I just don't buy it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I don't know. Like, he's got a lot of money and probably got some good doctors, but I don't know. It's not something I really want to see when I could see other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like have them have like a confrontation, have Owens have a match, have Austin come out afterwards, middle finger, stunner, boom, or even have Austin ref his match. Exactly,
the reffing thing. Like, he's got a good gig going with the reffing thing. He's been doing that since like 2003 or whatever. Like, just keep him doing that. Like, I don't want to ruin the allure of his retirement because he wrestled The Rock Mania. Yep. Like, you can't really go out bigger than that.
And I said the exact same thing when I heard about this.
Yeah, because if Shawn Michaels is going to come back, he already tore off that Band-Aid. So if he's going to do that, Ric Flair ruined his retirement. Just keep it kosher. Keep it kosher, Stone Cold. Come on.
I agree. And the way I'd look at it with Shawn Michaels is, with how that DX versus Brothers of Destruction match went, it wouldn't be a bad thing if he came back and maybe had a respectable match to close out on, since he did ruin the retirement he had with Undertaker.
Yep, exactly. Do the Goldberg thing. I feel like Goldberg was done until that last match was bad, and then he's like, "Oh, give me another couple years."
Yeah.
Give me Ziggler.
Yeah, I personally, like, with Goldberg, like, man, like when he had that match with Undertaker, it's one of those where you're like, okay, please let it be done. And he kept going, and I think he didn't really redeem himself until the Lashley match at Crown Jewel. And then it was like, okay, this was at least decent.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, go ahead.
What? No, I was just agreeing with you.
All right. Just a few more questions before we wrap up, Jared. I appreciate your time here tonight. What 3 locations are on your wrestling bucket list? Like, what 3 places have you not gotten to wrestle, whether it's in the country or not, that you absolutely, before you're done, want to be able to say you went there?
Mexico. Basically just anywhere in Mexico, because I think it'd tell a funny story. Like, the arena would be cool and everything, but like literally just like wrestling in a flea market in Tijuana.
Yeah.
Like that's just like I don't know, I think that'd be so cool. Let me think. I had it a second ago and then I just lost it. What'd you say? Places you want to wrestle at?
Top 3 places. You said Mexico.
Mexico. Another one that's kind of probably different than a lot of people say is New Orleans. Like I really want to wrestle in New Orleans somewhere. New Orleans, probably like hopefully, ideally in No, I meant Louisiana, but I mean like ideally like in like New Orleans
Yeah, I gotcha.
because it's like there's just not much wrestling there, man, and that is one of my favorite locations in the whole country. I love Bourbon Street. I love the whole French Quarter. You know, I just think it'd be really cool to have a wrestling show there. Good people. So that's just a unique one. But then like we're coming probably go. So I said Mexico, New Orleans, and I need to go to something big. And I really would think Japan.
And I had
want
a
to
feeling that
wrestle,
was going to be on the list. Yep.
and I'm not like I mean, I am now, but when I wasn't like a huge like Japanese wrestling fan growing up and stuff. So it's not like I'm not like Eddie Kingston over here, you know, where I can list off the whole trivia of Japan. But I still love it and respect it, and I just can't like think of a prettier venue than that place where Shimmer is at. Like
Okay.
it
Yep.
has, if you know what I'm talking about, has like the stained glass backdrop.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's
That
called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that or Kurikan Hall or the Meat Palace or even Tokyo Dome. Like those venues just look so cool, man. I want to be there.
Absolutely. I'd say that's pretty good. That's a pretty unique three. I mean, I feel like Mexico and Japan, when it comes to wrestling, they are historic areas. But New Orleans is a pretty unique answer, and I like your reasoning behind it.
Yeah, like there just isn't wrestling there, man. Unless you're WWE, I can't really find like independent shows, and I follow a list called like the Phillips Stamper.
Oh
He's the
yeah, good
president
old
of.
yep, Philip Stamper,
Yeah,
the president of professional wrestling. Yep.
exactly. No offense to Jeremy Hadley, but you know, but yeah, his list, and I never see New Orleans on there, so I don't know, man. That's my goal.
I like it, man. I like it. So, speaking of Jeremy Hadley, I want to say that I saw this around the time the movie came out. That you wrestled as Spider Kripke, and was it Jeremy Hadley tried to spoil the movie? Did you stop him?
Yeah, so it was the weekend the movie came out. Like it was it was Friday the movie came out, and then so Sunday we're wrestling, and he's talking on the microphone how he's gonna spoil the movie, and he's like, yeah, because you guys are a bunch of nerds, you know. I'm gonna spoil the movie, and right when he starts to start talking about the ending, like my music hits, and I'm all dressed in a Spider-Man costume, like a full mask and everything. So I come out to the ring and interrupt him and stuff, and he just starts like talking to me, and he says you, and he's pointing at me. So I point at him, and the referee points at both of us, and we have the whole meme going.
I love it. That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. I think I've seen a video
Yeah.
of it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, dude, the whole match. Anytime that he's got me down for longer than a few seconds, he's trying to spoil the ending of the movie, and I shut him up pretty good. I feel like.
I like it. Yeah, Jeremy, I actually got to ref his match with Billy at one of the last School of Rock shows. I've got good memories with Jeremy, and I feel like he's good at being that kind of a heel.
Yes, yeah, he's one of my favorite he's one of my favorite wrestlers to be a fan of.
Right on. All right, man. Last question. Like I said, I appreciate your time. What are your goals for wrestling in 2022, and where can people find you next?
Oh, you're killing me, man. Because that's a big thing for me. I always try to come up with goals, and I usually I'm not like puffing myself up, but like I usually if I set a goal at the beginning of the year, I usually achieve it. Like last year, my goal was to validate. I'm gonna make it in that last year, and so I didn't make it in the sense of like a career, getting signed. But I did go make it to TV. I had my TV debut. I was on TV every other week. I got a WWE tryout and Impact tryout. So I did what I said I was going to do last year. So this year, oh gosh, I need. I want to keep my momentum going. I've wrestled good opponents almost every single match has been good match. I want to keep that momentum going. That's my goal. And then I want to get bigger size-wise, is what I did say at another podcast. So I'm going to keep that goal going.
Okay.
And then my third goal is I need to make it to big TV. I want to be on extra. I want to be an extra, or I want to be on Dark or Elevation. I want to be on Dynamite. I want to be on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Like I want that. I want that check mark.
I like it, man. I think those are some solid goals for the year, and I will absolutely be rooting for you. I'd love to see that for you. I feel like you deserve it. You've definitely worked really hard over the last, like you mentioned, 7 years. So seeing you get that payoff would just be the icing on the cake for me as somebody who knows you, and obviously for you, the one doing the work. Where can people find you next, brother?
So I'm a champion in 4 different places, so you can guarantee me probably at those 4. Crash Tested Wrestling, that's in Lake Station. Journey, that's in Martinsville. Journey Independent. My big company is BMFX in Lafayette. BMFX, that's the Lafayette company. I got a big show coming up March 19th, I believe it is. March 19th. And then I'm the AIWF champion as well. So that's like basically any company. I mean, that can be a lot of places, anywhere from PWK, from Pro Wrestling King, to DCCW was what I'm trying to get into, FWF. So, but those first 3, those are the big ones, plus PWK.
Well, right on, man. Like I said, I'll be rooting for you in 2022. I will try to find the videos and the links for the matches that you mentioned. I will provide a link in the description for the YouTube version of this. So whether you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or watching on YouTube, thank you guys for watching. Jared, thank you so much for your time. It's been awesome getting to talk to you today. Is there anything else you want to say before we get off here?
Oh no, man! I think I said enough, man. But I'm just excited to meet all you people listening in person. That way, you can show me your top shelf smiles, and you can meet some top shelf talent when you see Big Whiskey Kripke out in public.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, everybody. Thank you for watching, and catch us next time on Wrestling the Past. We'll see you later.